like the current 23, 28 and 32 gram Savage Gear Seekers, but I had this kind of idea in my head, and I went to the grown-ups at Savage Gear HQ and I said, they're working for me in the surf especially, but it's any way I could get some different weights with a slightly larger profile to really accentuate that movement in the water when you got that loads of kind of tumbling white water. And we've come up with what we're calling the Surf Seekers, okay? 30, 35 gram and 40 gram. We're going to do them with single hooks and treble hooks, so you choose. I've got the 35 gram Seeker here. I really like a single hook in the surf. I don't know why, but it seems to hook more bass when you're surf fishing. And this thing, you'll see, if you know the Seekers, it's a bigger profile than the current, say, 32 gram one, and it just moves. And when I say it casts a mile, it's unbelievable how much water you can cover with this thing. Look, obviously, these are not surf conditions. You know, I want pounding onshore, really big seas for surf fishing. But I'm going to show you how we fish these things. The whole reason with these Seekers is you're covering a huge amount of water. But I know people think metal lures sink deep. Not this thing. This thing swims so nice and shallow. And you can absolutely load the rod like you would not believe. And then that's all I'm going to do. See, not too quick. You can reel them quite fast if you want to, and you can feel it in the rod tip. That lure is doing that all the time in the water. I can feel it in the rod tip. I can speed up like that. I can slow down, and it's actually quite surprising how slowly you can wind what is a heavy lure, a heavy metal lure, and still stay nice and shallow. When I first really started getting into these Seekers in the surf, what you'll find is big surf conditions will create a lot of current, a lot of rip currents. And I'd have these early mornings and I keep thinking, oh, I've got weed on my Seeker on the hooks. And I reel in and there's no weed because I'm feeling all this resistance. And I thought, hang on, this is not right. But it's not weed, it's your Seeker. You're catching those rip currents and you're getting extra drag. So I got hold of one of the grown-ups of Savage Gear and said, look, am I finding the kind of, is this what you find as well? They said, yeah, it's gripping in that well. When you find those rips, you feel that extra resistance. And that's often, again, where you're going to find the bass. Right, I'm going to do a slightly different retrieve, okay, and it's the guys in Denmark, the sea trout anglers who do this, and they put me onto it, okay. So I'm on my steady retrieve there. Imagine the waves are pumping, and this lure grips, and then I'm going to stop and keep a tight line, stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. They call that in sea trout fishing a spin stop. Boom, like that, stop. And what it's doing, the lure, is you're winding it in and you're stopping and it's fluttering. And often, if there's a lot of fish around, when it's done its flutter, you pick the line up again, bang, like that. It's a really cool way of fishing. I cannot tell you how big a sea conditions you can put these Seekers out in. These surf ones will be designed to really, really maximize casting distance, but also displace as much water as you can get away with. And some people say, oh, I'm getting twist on my braid from these lures. You're not. These lures do not spin. They look like they do, but it's an optical illusion. If your braid is twisting up, it isn't the lure, because I've never ever had any braid twist. They're doing that really, but they're never doing that in the water, if that makes sense. and they absolutely, you can see that reel, they fly. You know, you can fish, you know, what I'd love now is a kind of like a 4-6 in my face, and it gets difficult. We'll be out to here, we'll be all sealed up with a kind of a waterproof top, and you get smacked in the face with waves. And this lure, it just keeps you fishing. It's such, look, it's my go-to metal. It has been ever since I got into surf fishing. It's been my go-to metal.